Hello dear students, today we are going to start class 10th Economics, Chapter 4 Globalization and the Indian Economy, Part 7. Students, in this part we will cover Introduction, Steps to attract foreign investment, Negative impacts of globalization. Now students, before starting today's content, let us recall what we have discussed in previous part. Students, as in previous part we have seen the positive effects of globalization. Students, globalization has brought greater competition among producers. Both local and foreign producers have been of advantage to consume, particularly the well-off sections in the urban areas. There is greater choice before consumers. They enjoy improved quality at lower prices. People today enjoy much higher standards of living. Local companies supplying raw material have prospered. The top Indian companies have been able to benefit from increased competition. Some Indian companies have gained from successful collaboration with foreign companies. MNCs have increased their investment in India over the past 20 years, especially in cell phones, automobiles, electronics, soft drinks, etc. Students, we have also seen that many Indian companies have emerged as multinational themselves. For example, Tata Motors, Infosys, Ranbaxy, Asian Paints, etc. Globalization has created opportunities for new jobs. Because of competition, there is improved quality of products, lower prices of commodities. So all these benefits we have seen because of globalization. We can say that these are the advantages we are getting from globalization. Students, as we have seen the positive impact of globalization, so whatever it is beneficial for us, we want to increase that thing. As we have seen the positive impact of globalization, that it gives quality products, it improves the living standard of the people, it provides jobs to the people, it utilize the raw material of the country, boost up the local companies. So many benefits are there. So government wants to attract the foreign investment in the country. For that, government has made SEZs, that is Special Economic Zones. Let us see what is this Special Economic Zone. Students, SEZs are Special Economic Zones where world-class facilities like water, electricity, roads and transport, recreation, education are available. They have been set up to promote foreign companies to invest in India. Companies with production units in the SEZs do not have to pay taxes for the initial period of 5 years. Students, as government wants to attract the foreign companies in India, government provides the facility like water, electricity, road and transport, recreation, education to some special areas so that MNCs can be attracted and they can do investment in these regions. if they will do investment in these regions, it will be beneficial for them as well as to the country. So these steps are taken by the government. In recent years, the central and state governments in India are taking special steps to attract foreign companies to invest in India. Students, special economic zones, that is SEZs, has been set up by the government with a view to promote free trade and yield higher economic profit or growth. SEZs are being set up by the central and state governments in India to draw foreign companies and convince them to invest in India. Students, government, I told you that, gives facilities to these special economic zones like electricity, water, road, storage, educational facilities, so that MNCs can attract and do investment in these regions, because if they will get the favorable condition for the production, they will be interested in these regions to do the production here. That will be the development of the region also, and it will be beneficial for the country. So that is to attract the foreign companies, government is providing these kind of facilities, or we can say government is improving the infrastructure of that region so that the foreign companies can be attracted to these regions. Now let us see what kind of facilities are provided here, that is to attract the foreign investments. Let us see the features. Students, government has also allowed flexibility in the laws here, that is to attract the foreign investment. These zones provide world-class facilities including electricity, water, roads, transport, storage, and recreational and educational facilities. So earlier we discussed that these kind of facilities are provided in these regions where there is more possibility of production, as electricity, water, roads, transport. Already we discussed that these things are very much necessary for the production. Without this, the production is very difficult. So these facilities are provided in SEZs. Companies setting up production units in these SEZs do not have to pay taxes for an initial period of 5 years. Students, as government wants to attract the foreign investment in the country, so they want to give some relaxation to the foreign companies so that they will not face the problem in doing the investment. So some flexibility is given to them. Just like they have not to pay taxes for an initial period of 5 years, so that easily they can establish their business inside the country. The next facility, that is, government has also allowed flexibility in the labor laws to attract foreign investment. Students, in chapter 2 we have seen that the companies in organized sector have to obey certain rules that aim to protect workers' rights. As in organized sector, some rule regulations are there, and those are mandatory to follow by the industrialist. So government in recent years has allowed companies to ignore many of these so that they will not face any problem and easily they can establish here. Instead of hiring workers on a regular basis, companies hire workers flexibly for short periods when there is intense pressure of work. When there is more work, they can hire the workers on work, and when there is no need, they can just remove them. This is done to reduce the cost of labor for the company. So there will be no any extra burden on the company. However, still not satisfied, foreign companies are demanding more flexibility in labor laws. Even government has given this many facilities to the MNCs, but still there is more demand of the flexibility in labor laws. So here student, SEZs are the zones where government has given many facilities, improved infrastructure, that is to attract the foreign investment in these regions, that is for the development of the country. Now students, as we have seen, there are many benefits of globalization. As already we discussed that because of globalization, the people, they improved their living standard, they are getting many choices in the market. There is generation of jobs. It is also providing jobs to the people. Many Indian companies emerged as multinational companies. The top Indian companies have been able to benefit from increased competition. So we have seen that many positive impacts are there. But here one thing we have to notice, that there are some negative impacts also, because every coin is having two sides. One is positive, another is negative. So same as globalization, we have seen the benefits. Now we will see some drawbacks, some disadvantages we will see here of the globalization. Students, as globalization we have seen that it affects society, politics, economy, culture. Many things are affected by the globalization, but mainly here we are talking about economy. So in economy, we will see here that globalization, its negative impact on small producers and workers we will discuss here. Students, small producers compete or perish, competition and uncertain employment. These two kind of issues are given as negative impact of globalization in your NCERT book. Now we will discuss over it. Students, globalization, as we are going to see as a negative impact. Globalization operates mostly the interest of the richest countries, which continue to dominate the world trade at the expense of developing countries. The role of less economically developed countries, we can say in short, that is LEDs, in the world market is mostly to provide the North and West with cheap labor and raw materials. Students, if you will see in the foreign trade, that, or in international market, that developing countries mostly they provide cheap labor and raw material to northern and western countries. Those are mainly the developed countries, more economically developed countries, we can say. So less economically developed countries are providing the cheap labor and raw material to the more economically developed countries. And by using that cheap labor and raw materials, the developed countries, they dominate the world trade. Students, there are no guarantees that the wealth from inward investment will benefit the local community. Students, here transnational companies with massive economies of scale may drive local companies out of business. Students, transnational companies are just similar to MNCs. Little bit difference is there, that MNCs they work in a centralized manner. In their home country, their headquarters are there, and they are having different branches in different countries. Transnational companies are doing production across countries, but they are not doing work as a centralized manner. They do production wherever they are getting cheap location, that is cheap raw material and cheap workers. So because of this, they are able to drive local companies out of business. Students, if it is cheaper to operate in another country, they might close down the factory and make local people redundant, that is, they make them unemployed. If they will get the location where they can get more profit, so they can just start their business there, and whatever the workers they are working under them, they'll become unemployed. So their total focus is on the profit. Wherever they will get more profit, they will start their business there. Students, an absence of strictly enforced international laws means that the transnational companies may operate in less developed countries, or we can say less economically developed countries, in a way that would not be allowed. In more economically developed countries, they are getting that thing. In less economically developed countries, whatever they are not getting in more economically developed countries, they have to follow some strict rules in more developed countries, and they are getting some flexibility in less economically developed countries. Because of that, whatever they want to do in the market, they are doing. They want to dominate the market in less economically developed countries, or we can say those are the developing countries. Students, they may pollute the environment, run risks with safety, or impose poor working condition and low wages on local workers. Students, they dominate the market in different ways. They pollute the environment, they provide poor working conditions, they give low wages to local workers. They take the advantages whatever the facilities given by the developing countries to them. Let us see some of the issues. Those are given in your NCERT book. Students, there has also been a negative impact of globalization in India. Globalization has posed major challenges to a number of small producers. Globalization, which resulted from liberalization of foreign trade policies, allowed the import of electronic goods at a very cheap cost. Local producers of electronic goods were not able to meet with this challenge. MNCs flooded the market with quality products and at cheap price. Local producers were not able to compete with this and were put to hardship as their goods do not have a market. Students, for a large number of small producers and workers, globalization has posed major challenges. For small producers and workers, they face challenge because of globalization. Students, for the rising competition, one story is given, that is of Ravi. Let us see what is given in this story. Students, Ravi took a loan from bank to start his own company producing capacitor in 1992. Capacitors are used in many electronic home appliances including tube lights, televisions, etc. That is for the proper functioning. Within 3 years, he was able to expand production and had 20 workers working under him. His struggle to run his company started when the government removed restrictions on imports of capacitors as per its agreement at WTO in 2001. Students, as he was making the capacitors and doing the supply of that, now MNCs also started selling their capacitors in the market at less price. However, competition from the MNCs brands forced the Indian television companies to move into assembling activities for MNCs. Now, as the television companies, they started getting capacitors at low price, so they started taking from the MNCs. Even when some of them bought capacitors, they would prefer to import, as the price of the imported item was half of the price charged by people like Ravi. As people, they were getting at cheap rates, so they started taking from the MNCs. Ravi now produces less than half the capacitors than he produced in the year 2000 and has only 7 workers working for him. Now, as he was not getting any profit, so he reduced the work and removed the workers. As 20 workers were working under him, now only 7 workers were working for him. It was not the problem of Ravi. Many of his friends, those were in the same business in Hyderabad, they faced the same kind of problem. And they also closed their units. So students, here we have seen the problems created by the MNCs for the small producers. It is not easy for the small producers to compete with them. The main reason is here that MNCs are making their products at less investment. That's why they can sell it on less profit. But if the Indian producers, they have to sell their products at less price, at loss, so it will be a problem for them. And for all the producers, it is not possible to compete with that. So it is a question in front of them, that is to compete or perish. Now students, not only capacitors, plastics, toys, tires, dairy products, and vegetable oil are some examples of industries where the small manufacturers have been hit hard due to competition. As these products are also made by the MNCs, so it is very tough for the small manufacturers to compete with this. Several of the units have shut down, rendering many workers jobless. As producers or manufacturers, they are not interested in their production, or that is to run their business. So forcefully they have to remove the workers. And because of this step, workers, they become jobless. The small industries in India employ the largest number of workers, approx 20 million in the country, next only to agriculture. Students, as mostly people are engaged in agriculture, after that people, they prefer the small industries where they are getting employment. But as because of globalization, the manufacturers are not able to compete with MNCs and they are forced to shut their units. They are forced to shut down their units, and because of that workers are becoming jobless. So it is a problem for the small producers as well as for the workers, those they are working under them. Now students, another problem is another problem is competition and uncertain employment. Another negative factor of globalization is the lower wages that are given to laborers. In order to compete in the world market, exporters try and cut labor costs, and workers are denied their fair share of benefits, as manufacturers are always on the lookout for cheaper labor. Students, globalization and the pressure of competition have substantially changed the lives of workers. Faced with growing competition, most employers these days prefer to employ workers flexibly. They want to give the work to the workers when there is more work. That is the peak season, and after that easily they remove the workers. They are not following the labor laws. This means that workers' jobs are no longer secure. Employers, they want more flexibility in the labor laws. Students, large MNCs in the garment industry in Europe and America order their products from Indian exporters. These large MNCs with worldwide network look for the cheapest goods in order to maximize their profits. Students, already we have seen that the main motive of MNCs is to make much more profit. They want to make maximum profit. That's why they are searching the locations where they can get the cheapest goods. They have to do less investment. They have to pay less for raw materials, for the manufacturing. That's why they are placing their orders to the developing countries. To get these large orders, Indian garment exporters try hard to cut their own costs. As cost of raw materials cannot be reduced, exporters try to cut labor cost. They are not able to reduce the cost of raw material, whatever it is required for the production. So they reduce the cost of labor, that is, they cut the wages of the workers. Now, the workers are not getting regular jobs in these MNCs or the companies, those they are working for the MNCs, they are getting orders from them. Workers also have to put in very long working hours and work night shifts on a regular basis during the peak season. When there is more work, their working hours are not fixed. They have to do a lot of work. That is to complete the work. That is to complete the order. Wages are low and workers are forced to work overtime to make both ends meet. And it is the problem for the workers. They have to do work in these industries because they are not having other options, and the advantages are taken by the employers and MNCs. So we have seen the problems of the workers here. Now students, one example, or we can say one story is given about a garment worker. That is 35-year-old Sushila. 35 years old Sushila has spent many years as a worker in garment export industry in Delhi. She was employed as a permanent worker entitled to health insurance, provident fund, overtime at a double rate. When Sushila's factory closed in the late 1990s, she was searching a new job. She got a job in a factory, that is a garment factory. But the condition is totally different here. Sushila leaves her house every morning 7 days a week at 7:30. Early in the morning she has to leave the house and returns at 10 p.m. A day off from work means no wages. She was not getting the wages on that day. She was not going for the work, means for leave, paid leaves, she was not getting there. She used to get earlier. Factories closer to her home have widely fluctuating orders and therefore pay even less. So here working hours are more. There is no any other facility she was getting. No paid leaves are there. No fixed working hours are there. She has to work a lot and wages are less. So these kind of problems are faced by the workers because of globalization. So the conditions of work and the hardships of the workers described above, or we have seen in the story, have become common to many industrial units and services in India. Most workers today are employed in the unorganized sector. Moreover, increasingly, conditions of work in organized sector have come to resemble the unorganized sector. as people, they are not getting jobs in organized sector, forcefully they have to do work in unorganized sector, and they are facing many problems there. Workers in the organized sector such as Sushila no longer get the protection and benefits that she enjoyed earlier. Now, the difference we have seen in the working condition, as she was getting many benefits or facilities in the factory where she was working earlier, but later she was not getting the facilities as a worker. So these kind of problems we have seen, that is of small producers and workers, they are facing many challenges in the market because of globalization. So students, today these two topics we have seen in this part, that is the steps to attract foreign investment and the negative impacts of globalization. So students, once you should go through your NCERT book and read the contents properly, try to understand. Thank you.